Good morning, folks, and welcome to Bidian Nam Bien. I've been wanting to climb this hill for quite some time. It's one of the few hills that I've actually put on my Walk Highlands wish list, but I've never actually got round to it. It's been about a month since my last trip, and if you've not watched that, I'll stick a link up in the corner to my Northern Munro's adventure. It's November, so the hours of daylight available are dropping rapidly. There's 8 hours between sunrise and sunset today. So when I was trying to figure out where to go, I'd initially thought about going to Ben Aglow, which I haven't been to for something like 30 years. But it's a bit of a long day, and I would have been pushing it, especially with the clocks having gone back now. It would be a very early start, which I'm not a fan of, and probably walking off the hill in the dark, or at least certainly in twilight. So I decided to come up to Bidian instead, which is a shorter walk. The weather's turned out to be really nice today. The sun's shining, there's plenty of blue skies, but the clouds are whipping past pretty quickly. The forecast was talking about winds of somewhere in the region of 40 miles an hour coming from the southeast, I think it was. So I'm expecting it to be a bit blowy up on the top. I've got a bit to go. The scenery's been amazing, and I think I'm just going to grab some water and get going on again. So I will speak to you probably somewhere much nearer the top. Look at that view. Isn't it stunning? One of the things that I like most about going walking on the west coast is all the chances you get to have views out to the sea. All my early walking was done in the Cairngorms, especially as a teenager. And given that that's in the heart of Scotland, whilst there's plenty of lochs and lochans, there's nothing that stretches out as far as a sea loch heading out to sea. So it always feels special when I reach this, well, not even the summit, just reach a point on a hill where I get to look out across and see what is a very large body of water. I've still got a bit to go to get to the top of this hill. This is still just my way up on the first hill. I'm above 950 metres now, so there can't be too much more ascent to go for this first hill, but I'm not there yet. The summit of Bidian Nam Bien is the highest point in Argyll, standing at 1,150 metres above sea level. As I arrived there, I was rewarded with fantastic views all around, particularly down Glen Etive and all the way to the glen's namesake of Loch Etive. In the late 80s, the Scottish mountaineer, explorer and inventor Hamish McInnes made a documentary called An Eagle's Eye View of Glencoe. I remember that my mum recorded this off the TV for me, and I watched it time and time again,
falling in love with Glencoe. Being on the summit of Bidian reminded me of watching that documentary and being enamoured with the scenery I was once again experiencing in person. As expected, the wind conditions made the summit much cooler than the ascent had been, so I dug out my hat and warm puffy jacket. Once I was all layered up, it was time to take a break and have some lunch while enjoying those spectacular views. As I sat there eating, I said hello to a few groups as they passed by. Most of them were heading down the way I'd just come up. Before long, I finished my lunch and it was time to head along the ridge to the next summit, all the while continuing to have amazing views all around.
Well folks, that's me at the summit of Stob Corrie Screamich. It's the wind's not been as bad as I was been expecting today. Forecast had been saying 45 miles an hour winds, gusting 50 plus. It's definitely not been that. I think maybe we've been in the 30 range, and quite often the wind's died down completely. So I can't complain about the weather at all. In fact, speaking about the weather as a whole, I've had the perfect mix of wide open views, as you'll have seen, mixed in with the occasional very moody moments when the clouds have blown in and covered the hillside. We've had the clouds whipping over the summits and whipping through the Bealach, and it's been just the perfect day in the hills. I do like Glencoe. I had a very similar day when I was on Buccleuch of Moor. So thoroughly recommend this. I recommend every hill. Who am I kidding? So now I'm going to head back down through I want to call it the Hidden Valley. Everybody's been calling it the Forgotten Valley. I'm sure I'm the one that's wrong. So I'm going to drop down into that valley. It's where the McDonald's used to hide cattle that they'd stolen. So I'm going to drop down there. The route down looks a bit exciting. Looks a bit sandy and scrambly. That should be fun. And then it's going to be a simple case of heading back down to the car. I will catch up with you again somewhere down low. So,
Here we are at the cairn that marks the Bealach between Bidian Nam Bian and Stop Corrie Screamich. It also marks the path that I need to take down, and well, check this out for exciting. Don't know if the camera does it justice, but it looks like I could do with some skis. Right, let's see how this goes. Nailed it. So here I am, finally down into the hidden glen, or the forgotten glen, or the forgotten valley, or the secret valley, secret glen, some combination of those words. That's been some downhill I've had to do. It's quite steep. Looking back from here, I couldn't tell you where the path goes at all. But looking around me, what an amazing place. It really does look, it looks as flat as a football pitch that's been strewn with boulders. I think there would be quite a good few places to come here and pitch a tent. Although it'd be interesting to see how wet it gets when there's been a lot of rain. I think I mentioned up at the top, this is where the McDonald's would take the cattle that they'd rustled and hide them from their rightful owners. And looking around, I can't imagine it was too much of a hardship being the McDonald's who had to come up here to look after those cattle. I've been having a fantastic day today, so much so that sunset is about 2 minutes ago, and I don't know how well you'll be able to see me. I guess the camera's going to boost its ISO a bit. The car is probably about 40 minutes away, so I'm going to get a shift on, and I'm probably not going to do any more bits to camera. The gorge leading down from the Lost Valley was rugged, to say the least. I've no idea how anyone ever managed to herd cattle up there. Leading myself down was challenging enough. It was deep into twilight when I got back to the car, so I quickly threw my stuff into the back and headed home. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again on my next wee adventure.